Hi, and welcome to another episode of Melissa's Menu. As most of you know, I struggle with eating healthy. I love my sugar, I love my carbs, and believe me, I'm not getting rid of either. Moderation is absolutely key. But I gained some weight and really wanted to commit to a healthier lifestyle once and for all. I've tried fad diets in the past. They've worked a little bit, but nothing long term. I tried the gym, but I wasn't motivated and I couldn't afford a personal trainer. So I tossed that aside. I came across an ad recently on Facebook for a program at Plymouth Fitness called 90 Day Commit to Get Fit. I was so intrigued. I could do something for 90 days. What was this program all about? I immediately called and spoke to Paul, who was super informative, and set up an appointment to chat with him. Commit to Get Fit is an in-depth nutrition and fitness education program through weekly meetings. It's a multidisciplinary program unlike traditional diets or workout plans because it combines assessment, nutrition education, fitness, and an action plan. The best part, my insurance covered it. I thought, what did I have to lose? I signed up. My class consists of 14 of us. We're all in the same boat. We meet Thursday evenings for 2 hours at the gym. The first hour is a classroom setting with our dietitian, and then we meet with the director of fitness for the last hour, and we try a new fitness class every week. We've done yoga, group power, Pilates, etc. In fact, tonight we have a special guest. I have Allie Miller with us. She's our registered dietitian that teaches our class, and we love her. I've learned so much from her, and we're going to make a couple recipes tonight. Come on over, Allie.
Hi.
Hello. Say hello to everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So tell the audience a little bit more about the program and why it works.
Sure. You did a great job describing it. It's not just a diet plan. It's not just exercise. We took over stress management, behavior change, all of that in the comfort of your group. You guys became great friends, really close, really quickly.
Yes, we definitely did.
Yeah. We meet in the classroom first. We give you as much information as we possibly can each week. You usually have some homework, but It's pretty practical. And it reinforces all of the lessons. You are journaling every day, right?
Yep,
Every day.
Pretty much, yep.
Journaling with your coach, so if you get feedback back and forth. And every step of the way, you have the group to support you. So it kind of brings all of the topics together, and it works.
It really does. So actually, yesterday was our last evening of our classroom setting. Next week is our graduation. So I've made it for the 13 weeks almost. I've met some really great friends, like Allie said. It's such a fantastic program. I highly, highly recommend it.
It's fun.
So next week I'm going to meet with Allie one more time, and we're going to reassess, I guess, my goals and what they do an extensive assessment on this. We talk about, tell them the blood work.
So the first time we meet, we do blood work. So we get your fasting glucose, triglycerides, cholesterol numbers. We do weight, we do a body composition test. So that's muscle mass, water balance, fat mass. Your basal metabolic rate, and that's how we find out what your body's needs are, and that's what we base our goals on. So it's definitely not a cookie cutter program. It works for everyone because it's really individualized.
It really is. And then we met throughout the program about kind of what my goals were and how many calories I should be intaking and what kind of food. So it's very, very personalized, which is fantastic.
Yep.
The biggest thing that I think that I've learned is that you always talk to us about not calling it a diet, because it's really not a diet. It's really a lifestyle change, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I don't think anyone felt like they were on a diet the whole time. There was some stumbling blocks that we talked through, and you were able to have dinner parties, feed your family, go out to dinner, go out with friends.
Yeah.
Do cooking shows, all of that while you were on the program, and there were no rules to break.
So we have a lot to discuss tonight. I'm so excited to have this show, you guys. So we're making a couple of recipes. First, we're going to start with my new breakfast that I pretty much make every day now. I never cared for plain Greek yogurt. But talking with Allie, that was one of her kind of recommendations for some of the recipes when we first started. And I've really grown to love it. And I guess the biggest thing that I learned with the yogurt is to not buy the yogurt that has the fruit already in it, because there's so much sugar in it.
Right. You can flavor it yourself, you can sweeten it yourself, but you get to be in control when you buy the plain.
So one of my go-to recipes for breakfast now, we're going to go right over here for a second, is a 2% plain Greek yogurt. It doesn't have to be this brand name, whatever you want. Did you say 1 or 2%?
1 or 2%. So the fat-free It's not going to taste very good.
Right.
And it helps you absorb a lot of the vitamins. Without fat, we can't absorb vitamins A, D, E, or K. So we want a little bit of that fat.
Just gonna grab a spoon. So what I've been doing is just taking a carton of the yogurt, and I work every day, Monday through Friday, 7:30 in the morning. So another thing I learned is how important it is to eat breakfast first thing in the morning. And do you want to talk more about that and why that's so important?
Absolutely. That's actually one of the biggest things that we go over right away in the program, how important the meal pattern is. Not just your food choices, but making sure you're spreading it out throughout your day, especially your protein, because that's going to keep your blood sugar in control. And one of the biggest take-homes is when your blood sugar is in control, you're able to make smarter choices.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm telling you, I've learned so much. Another thing we talked a lot about is eating every 2 to 3 hours during the day and how important that is for your blood sugar to kind of be regulated, correct?
Right. Yeah, which was a challenge at first. You you were always eating or planning what you were going to eat next.
Yes, yes. So this recipe, folks, is just, like I said, a carton of yogurt. And then I'm adding, I washed these prior to the show, just some raspberries or any kind of fruit really would be fine.
Really.
And then I'm just adding some mixed nuts. Again, you can have, I guess, any kind of nut, but natural, is that what you prefer?
Yep, dry roasted.
Dry roasted, yep.
That gives you the flavor without any of the added salts.
And then my favorite part, because you know how much I love sugar, and the good thing is I can still have sugar. It's not, completely forbidden. I know now how much sugar I should be taking in. I was taking a lot of sugar, and in fact, when I started this program in the very beginning, on week 2, we had, was it a cleanse? Would you call it?
We call it Jump Start.
Jump Start. And basically what that consisted of, you want to tell them?
So it's, first we wean off of some of the things that we know aren't helping us towards our goals.
Right.
So packaged and processed foods, we kind of try and do without. Any added sugar, caffeine, alcohol, any of those things that aren't helping us towards our goals.
Right. That was definitely the hardest week for sure, but I learned a lot.
You did it.
But I guess what my story is with week 2 is my body was so used to having so much sugar every day. I mean, I was averaging probably 3 candy bars a day.
Mm-hmm. That's a
lot of chocolate. That's a lot of sugar. And so I cut that out for the week. And my body, I think we talked about this, developed a full body rash. And so I went to the doctor about that. And long story short, they think what had happened was my body was releasing the toxins through my skin.
Right.
Because my body was like, wait, what is going on? I'm so not used to you eating healthy, and what is going on here? So just goes to show, like, I was eating a lot of sugar.
It goes to show that when you give your body the chance, it knows what to do with these things. It can process and detox on its own when you're giving it the fuel that it needs to do so, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, this was just a short time that I had that rash. I mean, it wasn't anything major. And then we'll talk more throughout the evening, but each week, Allie adds more foods back in, and once I had, I guess, the proteins and more foods, the rash went away, but I was really surprised by that. So here's the recipe. The only thing I'm adding is the agave, and this is just a little bit to make it a little sweeter, completely optional. So you recommend agave versus sugar, of course, and refined sugar,
so
correct.
Honey, maple syrup, agave,
right.
All good choices.
Yep. So I'm just going to put a very little amount. I think we talked about maybe even just doing like a teaspoon, just to give it a little bit. And that's the first recipe, guys. Very, very easy.
So pretty.
Super healthy, super pretty.
And filling.
And filling. We're up to our second recipe. We're making egg muffins, I guess. Is that what we call them?
That's what I call them. Yeah, it's kind of cute.
So this is a recipe, again, these are all recipes that I've learned from the Commit to Get Fit program at the gym. This is a lifesaver, time saver, definitely. So basically, do you want to tell them what exactly it is?
Absolutely. So it's basically scrambled eggs. So it's as easy as that. cooked in your muffin tin, so they're pre-portioned.
Yep.
You know, you've got your serving of protein, vegetables, you can add cheese, you could add protein if you wanted to, but it's all pre-portioned, ready to go. They can be made ahead of time, and they're delicious.
They really are. They're so good. I eat these all the time. And the great thing about this recipe is they can be, you can freeze them.
Absolutely.
And so grab them, you know, on your way to work in the morning and just kind of pop them in the microwave,
Yes.
and they're really fantastic.
Awesome to have a savory breakfast on the go.
Yes, yes. I love the yogurt, like I said, but some days I just want something warm. And these are very filling and they're very versatile, so you can pretty much pick and choose whatever vegetables that you want to use.
Whatever you like.
So I'm going to have Allie start with the eggs, and I'm just going to chop up the pepper. Another thing that I've learned in the program is how important it is to have snacks on hand.
Yes.
Always be prepared, because I've gone, you know, to the food store when I've been hungry before, and I'll just grab whatever looks yummy. But if you have snacks with you in your vehicle, in your car, in the office, really, really important. So I do little packets of, I prep like vegetables and carrot sticks and broccoli in little baggies. And then I've been eating a lot of these right here. These are just the Emerald 100 calorie packs. I've been eating those and a cheese stick and all kinds of good stuff.
Yep, you don't want to be caught without a snack.
Right, and can you tell them why it's important for us? Another thing I learned is when you're eating a snack, it's important to have two different items at once, not just one.
Yes.
Not just one food group, and tell them why that's important.
That's my rule of thumb. Always at least two food groups for your meals and for your snacks. So that goes back to that blood sugar control. So some foods we know, right, are higher carbohydrate, have some naturally occurring sugar like fruits, vegetables, even our dairy products, and they increase our blood sugar more than other things. So we know that we want to keep our blood sugar under control. We don't want those spikes and drops. So pairing our food groups, when you have a higher carbohydrate food with a protein or a healthy fat or a fiber or an acid, right, lemon juice, vinegar, it brings that load down. So your blood sugar never gets quite as high, and it takes longer to come back down. So rather than big peaks, we've got nice even waves, which feels better.
Yes, it really does. It makes a big difference. I've never been one to really eat every 2 to 3 hours, but boy, do I feel different when I do. And when I don't, I can feel a difference, absolutely.
I'm gonna salt and pepper this just like we were making scrambled eggs.
Okay.
And then we'll add our veggies.
So I'm just chopping a pepper, like we talked about. You can really add any kind of vegetable, mushrooms, garlic, onion.
Absolutely.
Anything.
I've just had roasted leftover vegetables from the night before.
Oh my gosh.
And I throw those in. Talk about like savory yumminess.
And so two of these is one serving, correct?
Yes, because a serving is going to be 2 eggs, so we're making sure we're getting enough protein. So if you've got the muffin tin with the 12 cups, you would do 2.
Yep, and so each one of these has your protein and a serving of vegetables.
Yes.
All right, that's ready whenever you want that. I'm going to toss that.
Thank you. This is good too because you won't get sick of them. You can change up the veggies or the protein or the cheese each time. So even though it's the same recipe, you'll get to know it. You can switch it up.
And we do want to be careful with the cheese though on this, correct?
Correct. So.
Oh, I'm going to also dice some herbs real quick.
That'll be nice. That'll make it fresh.
Do we want to talk a little bit about the cheese?
Absolutely.
And how much?
So we're going to do a couple tablespoons, and this is going to stretch throughout the whole recipe.
And I have chives here, and I have some thyme. Again, any kind of fresh herbs are great, and this really gives it a nice, fresh flavor to the eggs too. And do we add milk, or I forget if we add milk?
So sometimes I add a little bit of milk, same as if you were making scrambled eggs.
I'm just gonna grab a knife in here, sorry. Okay.
Got good colors going on here.
Yes, you talk a lot about eating the rainbow.
I
And
do, right?
tell our viewers what that means.
Easy to remember, right?
Yes.
We know that we get different nutrients from all the different colors, the phytonutrients. So those are the different colors that do different things for our bodies. So we don't want to eat just green vegetables or just orange vegetables. We want to get a combination of both. So if you're not a green vegetable person, but you can find a couple of green fruits that you like, then you're still probably covering most of your bases.
And is it more important, a lot of people ask me this question, is it more important to consume more fruit or more vegetables or a combination of both? I mean, I know fruit has natural sugars in them.
Yeah, that's a good question. So probably a combination of both is going to be your best bet. But again, we don't want you eating things that you don't like.
Right.
So if you can find some that you like, and a combination of both. But I think a lot of people were surprised with some of the recipes that we give you as part of the program.
Yes.
They tried some foods that they thought they didn't like
Yes.
and ended up really liking them.
It's so true. It's so true. There's some really fabulous recipes. I know with my personalized food plan that I'm on, that Allie has me on, I'm having 2 to 3 servings a day of fruit,
Yep.
and actually 6 servings, which kind of floored me at first, of vegetables.
Right.
But believe it or not, it's pretty easy to get in the 6 servings because I think we talked about the cooked vegetables are a half cup serving.
Yep, so a serving of vegetables would be half a cup if it was cooked or a whole cup if it was raw. So if you think about
Right.
spinach, right, it's this big when it's raw and then this big when you cook it down.
Yes.
So
yes.
1 cup for fresh, half a cup for raw, cooked, which is pretty doable.
And I'm not big on raw vegetables, so what I've been doing is making it into like a big pot of stew or soup. The lentil soup is fabulous. I've been
So
making
good.
that with the rest through the class. And then of course roasting vegetables. I've talked about this on the show before. I really do enjoy roasted cooked vegetables. They taste better to me.
So much better.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's easy for me to get in 6 servings. I mean, obviously not all of that, but that's a couple servings right there. So, and you spread it throughout the day.
Yes.
You're eating every 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to get the vegetables in. It sounds like a lot, but it's actually
And this
not
recipe
too
is a
bad.
good way to get some in early in the day. So
Yes.
we don't normally think of vegetables for breakfast.
Correct.
But this is a nice way to sneak a whole serving in the
Yeah,
morning.
that's actually a good point. We have a lady in our class, I think it was last night, that asked, I don't like to eat, vegetables in the morning, so what could we, this is a perfect example of doing that.
Good.
So those are
So
all
we'll
set, the
add our
herbs.
herbs. We have
Yep.
chives and thyme. Yum.
I know, so pretty.
It is pretty. Good. So we'll give that one more mix.
Okay, I'm gonna grab the muffin tin and that as well.
Thank you.
I'll put that, yep, right there is
Thanks.
fine, thanks.
So this is my trick for mess-free muffins.
I love that mess-free muffins.
Usually.
That's actually brilliant. I was wondering.
How
I've
I
had
was gonna do
issues.
that?
Yeah, I mean, mine have kind of like splattered everywhere.
Good. So Melissa greased this for us with a little bit of oil.
Yep. And how do we want to fill these, like 3/4?
So I usually do about half.
Okay.
They'll fluff up a little bit.
Okay.
And if we
Oh,
have
those look
extra
fabulous.
veggies at the end, we can fill them in.
Right. And how long do these cook and what temperature?
So I usually put the oven at 350.
Okay.
And you can watch them, but it usually takes about between 20 and 25 minutes.
Okay.
If you've got one of those big muffin tins where it's just 6 big muffins,
Yes.
a serving would be 1, and they might take a little bit longer to cook.
Okay, that's good to know. Yep. Yeah, these are fabulous. I think this was actually one of the very first recipes in the program, were the eggs. So the first week, the first 2 weeks, like we were talking about, is probably the most difficult, I would say. But you can have a little bit of protein. So these were definitely lifesavers for me in the very beginning.
There we go.
All right, I'll have you put those right in the top.
Thank you. There we go.
All right.
The chives look really good on them.
Oh, good. I love presentation.
Right. don't they?
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're up to our next recipe, which is white bean dip with fresh veggies or whole wheat pita chips. So we'll talk about the chips in just a minute. So the ingredients for this recipe are a can of cannellini beans, drained and rinsed, which are right here. Some extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper, some fresh garlic, Italian or flat leaf parsley right here. We'll talk about that. A little bit of salt and pepper and some lemon juice. So pretty much, I think I normally have these ingredients already in my pantry, which is such a great recipe because you can make it anytime, super easy. It literally, you make it in the blender or the food processor, and that's about it. So I'm gonna have Allie just cut up the 2 lemons. We just need about 2 tablespoons of the lemon juice. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna talk to you briefly about the parsley. So I get this question a lot, excuse me. Does the parsley or the fresh herbs last longer if you put a paper towel, a damp paper towel around them, and you put them in like a Ziploc bag? Absolutely, they really do. They last a lot longer. So I'm gonna cut maybe like a 1/4 cup of the fresh parsley. That gives the recipe a nice, just like a nice fresh taste. And the garlic, we're just using 2 cloves of garlic. I've had a few friends make this, and they always tell me to cut back on the garlic. It's very strong, so I might just do 1 for this recipe. And then your olive oil, which most everyone has olive oil in their cabinet. This is actually Spanish organic. I just picked it up at Trader Joe's, so we'll use that. And then the beans. And Allie, talk to us about the beans again. These are a really great source of fiber, correct?
Absolutely, yes. And some protein. So a good plant source of our
some protein. Okay.
Absolutely. So we just opened up a can, gave them a good rinse in the colander with some water, washed off any of that sodium that's just there for preservation. And we've got good fresh beans ready to go.
The great thing about this recipe is you don't really need to chop anything beforehand. I'm just kind of giving this just a rough chop right here. So let's add these. The thing about this program is I'm learning things all the time. Like Allie just talked about how it has protein, did you say?
Yeah.
Protein, and I forgot about that. So I knew that it was a great source of fiber. So we're just gonna add these in here. This is a great recipe for if you're having a dinner party or friends over and you just need something real quick to put together.
So
just like a very quick appetizer. My husband and I munch on this in the evenings, watching TV with veggie sticks and that kind of thing. And we talk a lot in the class about mindful eating. Do you want to kind of talk about that?
Absolutely. So that's a big part of it. I think as you go through the program, you find yourself eating for all different kinds of reasons.
Absolutely.
I call it stomach hunger and head hunger, right? Stomach hunger is when your body actually needs fuel. And head hunger can be all kinds of things. It can be stress, it can be emotions, it can be you see someone eating something that looks pretty good and so all of a sudden you're hungry. All kinds of different things that can make you feel hungry. And so being mindful helps you think about, okay, what does my body actually need right now? Does it need rest? Does it need to get up and do something? I'm just kind of bored. Do you need to stretch your legs? Do you need to change of scenery? Or do you need fuel?
Right. Such a great point because I sit at a desk, as many of you know, for my job. And before that I took the program, I was just sitting there. I get bored easy, so I'm just eating whatever's in front of me.
Yep.
And I would just eat and look at the computer screen and eat, and I was just mindless eating. Right. It was terrible. Now I'm much more conscious about it, so I know every 2 to 3 hours I should be eating, a healthy snack. And usually it was just because I was bored, so from now on, I'll take like a big gulp of water or just walk around or something like that.
Yeah, and so you give yourself a minute of mindfulness to decide what you actually need.
What exactly do you really need? Yeah, because usually it's not what you think it is.
Right, it's not usually the first thing that we reach for.
Yeah, exactly. So how long have you been a dietitian for?
Let's see. So I studied at Framingham State, graduated in 2013, got my RD after that. I actually did culinary arts in high school, so I've always been a food person.
Okay, yeah, I knew that you love food.
Yes, it's obvious. That's why we're friends.
Yes. I was so excited to have you on the show.
I know. So I always knew I wanted to do something about food at senior year of high school, really got into studying more the nutrition aspect of it in conjunction with the cooking part. And I just love to cook, and I love to talk about food, and I love to help other people do that too. We don't want to take away all the joy from food by being healthy. That doesn't need to happen. We still want food to be all those things that we enjoy, celebrations and the way we show love and together time, all of that. We want to keep all of that. And just make healthier choices.
Yeah, it's funny that she's talking about this. Maybe you could talk to our guests more about, like, if you go to a party and just not feeling that you're just so stressed out before you even get there because, oh my gosh, I'm on this, this new lifestyle change, and I can't eat a piece of chocolate, and I can't have a piece of cake, and it's really not like that at all. If you want to go into
so
details.
Actually, your homework 1 week was to dine out.
Yes.
To go out to eat and stick to your plan. And we had a whole lesson on how to do that so that you're comfortable. We talked about things that you can do earlier in the day to make sure that you're eating all of your food groups, not saving calories, that won't work.
Right.
Eating normally throughout the day beforehand, whether it's eating out or a celebration, an event that there's going to be food.
Yes.
And we talked about how to make good choices, thinking about your food groups. You want to get your protein, you want to get your veggies. Maybe there's a little something extra in there, but you're not going to overindulge because you're filling your plate with all the other good things too.
Right. And it really is okay. Like, I think it was, I forget what I went to. I was going to some kind of celebration, and I remember talking to you ahead of time, and I was kind of stressed out. This is early on in the program. I'm like, I know it was an ice cream social with some friends, and I'm like, they're just having ice cream. Like, how can I not have ice cream? And we talked about.
And I said, Melissa, have ice cream.
Right. Just knowing how much to have, and I did fine. And then you just get right back on, your plan the next day.
You can absolutely plan to have things that aren't on the everyday plan. Right. But it's not a big deal. You just get right back to your plan.
And to not stress about it.
Exactly, because the guilt is not helping you towards your goals.
Right, exactly. All right, I think that's it. So that's all. We just have the parsley, the lemon juice, the olive oil, salt and pepper, garlic, and our beans. And that's basically it. I'm just gonna put this, if you could just grab the blender and bring it a little bit closer. I am a messy chef when I cook in the kitchen. My husband's always tell me, he's like, you've got every pot and pan out. There's so many dishes to do.
I think we're doing pretty
I'm like,
good.
yeah, but you're eating it and you love all the food. So. Whoops, this way. All right, so I'm just gonna pulse this. Yes. Fabulous recipe. Very healthy. That looks good. Yep. You want to put that in there, that'd be great. And I'm just going to talk about the pita chips. So I made some whole wheat pita chips to go with this. You can use, like I said, just raw veggies if you like. I love pita chips, and they're a lot healthier if you make them your own.
So easy.
These are super easy. I just took some whole wheat tortillas, just the small round ones, and just took a pizza cutter and cut them in 8. And sprinkled a little bit of, or sprayed a little bit of olive oil on them. Sprinkled with some oregano, salt, and pepper. And that's it. 400 degrees for about 8 minutes. So we're gonna do a nice little display here. You know how I love presentation. I made these earlier in the day, so.
So pretty.
So this literally took, not even 5 minutes to make. Like I said, really great for like a dinner party. And there you have it.
Beautiful.